To sum up, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you could give another entrepreneur who is dabbling in this content creation thing that you've learned from your experience? I'm here with... Now you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Segall. I'm a designer, an entrepreneur, I guess you can say, content creator, and I do a bunch of things.
A bunch of things. Okay, so I guess the reason that we're here is because you do a bunch of things and you create content about them, right? You have an Instagram, we'll include the Instagram handle here, and you have a YouTube channel, right? And you're coming out with a YouTube series called Trust the Process, right?
That's right, yeah.
See, I did stalkishly lurk you from afar. So I guess what interests me, and I'm sure other people would want to know as well, is like, okay, why did you start putting out content?
Okay, so I actually started kind of creating content or sharing just like a lot of years ago. I started writing a blog. And I think the first motivation for that was just to share my thoughts. Maybe I didn't have enough friends who wanted to listen to my musings about work and stuff like that. So I used to write a daily blog in Israel, in Hebrew actually, about branding and design and that type of stuff. Without connection to that, I used to always like making videos. So when I would go off with my families for a vacation, I would shoot with the iPhone and then edit it in videos and stuff like that. And then at a certain point, like 3 years ago, vlogging became a thing. So, the whole Casey Neistat thing on YouTube, and that actually really inspired me because I really wanted to see somebody else, like another designer perspective or an entrepreneur starting a company, something like that. Because I felt like Casey Neistat did a lot of lifestyle thing, but didn't really show how they're building their company. And that was something that really interested me. So I really had, for a while, I wanted to experiment with that, but I was really afraid. Like I didn't want to take the responsibility because I was like, I saw him and I was like, I don't want this to take over my life like every day and I won't be able to do anything else. So at the start of it, actually, I did a little pilot. So I actually used my iPhone and just like created stuff on my iPhone and edited on the iPhone and shared it with a kind of a closed group on Facebook. So it was just like few people, just showing them to them and asking for feedback. And I was actually debating whether I should just do kind of like a once a week video about a topic, or should I do kind of like a daily thing where I document my day. So those were the things that I was considering. And actually the feedback that I got was like, no, posting every day is like, it's too much. Don't do it. Just like stick
we don't like you that much.
Yeah, stick to once per week or something like that. It's too much content. But I was like, the hell with it. I actually enjoy doing it a lot. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try and see if that works. So I just started. I didn't have like a grand vision of what's going to become of this or how long I'm going to do this, but I started. And once I got started doing this, the beginning was a bit kind of intimidating since you have to create every day, and that was something that was
what
really...
What kind of content were you putting? It was just documenting what was going on, or you had...
Yeah, but I tried to make kind of like a learning. Every day there would be some kind of a takeaway from the video, so it's not just lifestyle, it's like, here's what I learned today. And I remember I was kind of like panicking because you have to come up with an idea or have something interesting every day, and that was, for the first week, that was really stressful. But once I got into the habit of it, after like a month, I really started enjoying it. And actually, after I started doing this, I actually dropped like writing the blog because I realized that for me, communicating for the video was much easier. Writing for me was, it was much harder. It took me like 3 hours to write a blog post, and I would still be happy that I'm doing it, but it was a painful experience to create the content. And on video, it was just much more natural and fun.
Where you put the videos on YouTube? Or you put them on
Facebook? So that's how I started my YouTube channel. And that's been going on now for 3 years. So now I'm almost 3 years uploading 5 times per day, 5 times per week.
I was going to say that's when you sleep. Okay.
No, so I
Wow,
don't
that's
post.
like
I don't
every day
post.
you post
Yeah,
a
so it's
video.
every day.
Wow. And you make the videos on your iPhone, and then you just
No.
Oh,
At that
yeah.
point, I actually bought a camera,
Oh,
like
okay.
a Canon
You upgraded.
pocket camera, and started walking around with that. And that has. So I've been doing that for 3 years now. Now it is kind of evolved into I'm not hanging around with the camera every day. It's more like just me talking to the camera. Like initially, like I didn't want to do, but that's what it ended up being, and I feel like that works better than kind of like documenting my day.
Yeah.
Because people, specifically on YouTube, they want to see the content and they want to hear what you have to say. Now I use Instagram stories to kind of document, what's going on and kind of like
Right.
the behind the scenes of it.
Because the platforms have changed, I think. Also,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
vlogging
yeah.
I've seen it shift more to stories, and now people, when they go to
Right,
YouTube, they
exactly,
want, like, give
exactly.
me the meat.
And also the way I consume content has changed as well, because I used to be like 3 years ago, I used to watch like YouTube every night,
Right.
after I eat dinner and stuff like that. I used to watch YouTube. Now I don't do this anymore, and now honestly, like the content that I consume is mainly Instagram stories.
Really?
Yeah. So and I'm also like really enjoying creating there. So now I'm playing on, I would say, both YouTube and Instagram. Even though my YouTube is much bigger than my Instagram, I still get like great engagement on Instagram, and it's crazy. And
Oh, I
it's
DM'd
really
you,
fun.
so
Yeah.
if you want to be a
That's
creepy
cool.
stalker, I have excellent tips.
That's
on
but
them.
but that's one of the awesome thing about Instagram. It really allows you kind of like to create a dialogue with people and
Yeah.
to connect with them. Like YouTube has comments, but it's more like public, and it's not like real personal like interaction where you have with on Instagram. You can click and see their profile. So I feel like Instagram is really powerful right now. And
So I want to
really
ask you
enjoy it.
about that, because a lot of people that we work with, and we have like a group for entrepreneurs who are looking to figure out how to do this whole marketing thing. And we said, okay, we're going to talk to somebody who seems to have this Instagram thing down. What are the questions do you want to have, like, they would like to ask them? And the main one was, how do I create a connection with somebody on Instagram? Like, I get that I follow them or I creepishly lurk, but how do I take past that to really build? On Facebook, I think it makes sense to people. There are groups, there are comments, you can like really interact. But I think from the outside, it seems like Instagram is just very surfacey. So I'm curious.
No,
like,
you can if it's post, you can always comment, and people are like sending DMs. I send DM to other people. People a lot of times, at least I know I'm doing it, and I see other creators are doing it. They're asking people to engage and write them a message or stuff like that, and they care about what the audience think or other people think. And so I think it's a great. I get a lot of messages every day, and I try to answer them all. And I also reach out to other people, so I think it's great for making connections. You just write a DM.
So how have you built a connection with your audience, or how have you gotten them to engage with you?
On my Instagram or in general?
Both, yeah.
So Instagram has many like awesome features like polls and stuff like that, so that you can ask for engagement and see what other people think and leave a comment or ask a question or stuff like that. Or sometimes you just say, click send a DM and it works if you tell them to do it.
Right, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so call to actions, that's
Yeah,
important.
call to action.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And on YouTube, how did you build your audience?
So on YouTube, it's a bit different. First of all, I had kind of an initial community to get started with, because one of the other project that I was working on, the New School, had a big blog and a big mailing list. So when I started my YouTube, I told other people, hey, I'm starting to do this. So I had kind of an initial audience, maybe my first 500 subscribers or something like that. After that, it's just consistency, and YouTube actually is a search engine. So if you post the videos and you try to think about what people are looking for when they're searching for the video, then you write the title in a way that it makes sense, and then slowly it grows.
Right.
But it takes time, and
Right. That's something I think people don't realize, is how much time it takes. I think they get very nervous. They'll post something and no one will respond. It'll get only 2 likes, and then they panic and stop. So
exactly. I also I think it's only natural to look for the shortcut or the hot hack. And I also watch this, like all those videos,
Right.
like how to grow your YouTube in like
in
30
3
days.
easy steps, yeah. We figured it out.
But-
So you get to take off your clothes, take a picture of yourself in a bikini, and
Exactly.
then you win.
Exactly.
That's-
Okay.
don't
I
think
haven't done that
I haven't
yet,
done that
but
either.
that-
I don't know. I
yeah.
haven't tested it out, but I heard that that's really the foolproof method. So
It's probably right. Yeah, sounds about right.
But you seem to have done it without wearing a bikini, so.
But I'm not that big yet.
Well, I think,
there's still potential
but
for
that's
growth.
a really interesting. Okay, so you just recently, or it wasn't so recent, a few months ago, you put out a course, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, this is going to sound so super soccerish, but you said that your goal was like, I think like 100, and you were really excited because you got like 150 signups, right? Or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Creepy documentation on that part. I don't have a photographic memory, and I don't even remember my kids' names, so don't ask me why I know this. But I thought that was really cool because if you look at the stats, right, like you have a few thousand YouTube, right? How many YouTube subscribers do you have?
It's 60,000 right now.
60,000.
Yeah.
We have 32, so we're totally like nailing this. And you have like 4,000, 5,000 Instagram followers, right? So if you look at it in context of like Logan Paul, who has 15 million, right? You'd say, well, this guy is nothing. Or even Christo, who has hundreds of thousands. And yet you created a paid product and you had a captive audience that was willing to pay for it, essentially.
Right.
So I'm curious, or I'd love to hear how you built that relationship through content to the point where even though, I want to say yahasit, but that's not an English word, even though in comparison to other maybe bigger influencers, it doesn't seem like a lot, it seems like it was powerful enough that you were still able to monetize it.
I think, there is this, I don't know if you know this article about 1,000 True Fans. Yeah, so, it's pretty popular article or concept nowadays that, if you have 1,000 people who are highly engaged and you can give them something that they want, it's enough for you to survive or make a living as a creator. And I guess in that pool of whatever, 60,000 and those 5,000 in Instagram are probably the more engaged out of the whole audience. It actually came from them. When I did the course, I actually did a poll on Instagram, which course do you want me to do? And so in a way, I responded to what the audience wants, and they really wanted it. And I've created, I think, for the past 3 years, good enough I've built a lot of trust with them so that when I did an offer to them, it was received well. And so it worked out well.
So how long did you have to build their trust before you felt that you could ask them to pay for something?
So it wasn't exactly, it's not like I was doing this for 3 years because
okay.
at the end I'm going to sell them something.
But clearly you built a relationship with them. How long did you?
But I've built the relationship because I wanted to share my opinion, and I did that. And that, like, for almost I think up to the point where I've launched the course, I've always seen this as kind of a hobby or a side passion project. And I never saw it as kind of like my work or something that has to have like a positive ROI, even though, by the way, for 2 years now I have a sponsor, so it is making money. But I also did the edit, at night after the kids went to bed. And so I never considered this part of my work. I was doing client work and working on other projects to generate revenue. So I never planned on monetizing this or I never thought about it this way. But it happened that after 2.5 or almost 3 years, I've made this shift and I decided, hey, let me try and do something and see if the audience likes it. It was enough. I don't say that you have to do it this way, but that's just how it worked for me, I guess.
And in terms of your other, you do graphic design, you have your own company, you would have
So I had the other ventures were, one, I'm a freelance designer and I work with other startups, and I had 2 other companies. One of them is called The New School and the other one is called Prospero.
Which you just sold, right?
Yeah. So right now I'm actually focusing all of my energies, and so I've sold Prospero, shut down my part in The New School so that I can focus on making content. Also fired most of my freelance clients. So that I can really focus on this but this is a recent realization that I understood that I want to focus on this.
Why?
Why I made the shift?
Yeah, why focus on content?
Because it worked super well with the course, and I did not anticipate how strong this would be. And also the realization that this is what I like doing, like creating content. I just love it. And so why not focus on that and kill other distractions? And if this can be also something that generates enough revenue to, sustain myself, then why not do this seriously?
So the business model would be selling external courses and things kind of through the content, or it would be getting bigger clients through your content?
No, getting client through my content was never a goal, and was also something that didn't really happen. I have kind of like other, I would call it network here in Israel that used to like refer leads to me for my freelance project. So yeah, it's going to be premium content, and other content like the web series that I'm working on right now, which is going to be free, but it's probably going to be some kind of content that really going to engage people. And then kind of the back end is going to be like, if you want to learn how to do this yourself, here's premium content that can help you, learn and take you there so that you can do this yourself as well. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm curious about like premium content, because I know that there are like YouTube also, they like some creators now can offer, a more premium channel. Do you find that do you think that because everything is available for free, people are going to be willing to do that shift? Do you feel like your consumers are loyal enough or interested enough that they'll be like, yeah, great, let's pay? Or they're going to want something in return? They're going to want like some added value in return?
First of all, it's not the same content. Like a course with assets, with step-by-step material is very different content than the videos on YouTube, which might be educational, which might be entertaining, which might have other values, but it's a different type of content, I would say. And I think it's already proven that people are willing to pay for it. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Right. This is a question that I always ask people who do sell a course or something. How do you decide? And I know that in a lot of your YouTube videos, you talk a lot about practical things, how to do this, when to do that. So how do you decide what to give away and what to withhold and then charge for in your course? Maybe you stumbled upon it accidentally, which is also good.
I give away everything, by the way, but I give away everything. But for example, specifically in the case of the course that the course that I created, which is it's a technical course teaching a tool called Webflow on how to build websites. Like the course is I would say it's half technical and half business. And so the technical part of it is I just never had the motivation because I don't enjoy creating technical videos. I never wanted to create this as a content for my YouTube channel. But my audience really wanted me to do this. And so I said, okay, if you want me to do this, I'll do this. But this is going to be like,
And I'm going to charge you for it.
Yeah, exactly. And the rest of it, some of the advice that I give on the business side, some of it you can find on various videos. But I think there's a lot of values of going into a program where there's a clear entry point and exit point, and what's the transformation, and that everything is organized for you in a kind of a step-by-step material. People value that. People don't have time. People don't want to just run around and take notes from several other videos. It's just like, most books that you can get the ideas off the internet, but there is still value in buying a book and reading it, cover to cover, and you have the material focused.
Right.
And I think it's true for all forms of education.
Right. So now you're going to focus mostly on your YouTube channel, your Instagram. When you say put out content, like where is it going? What does it look like? So where can we find you?
So it's so right now the way I'm structuring, hopefully to structure this year, it's still not there yet, but it's going to be like 20% I'm still going to do client work that interests me, but in 80% I'm going to work on my content business, which is creating new courses, building and improving the courses that I already have and supporting my students, and creating YouTube videos and and new series and stuff like that. And also I'm going to start a podcast and an Instagram, and so all the other.
So that's my final question is basically, I feel like in Israel, the trend that I've seen, and I've been following very closely what's happening in like outside of Israel and also in Israel. Outside of Israel, everyone has a course, everyone has a podcast or a video channel. Like there's no such thing as promoting yourself. Everyone's putting out content. And I haven't seen it, besides for you and a few other like smaller creators in different spheres, like I haven't seen that here. Do you think that things are changing? Do you think that there's going to be more of a push towards content creation, or am I just hoping and it's going to be not happening?
I want to challenge your assumptions. First of all, I don't
Please,
know what
yes.
I don't know what it
Where
means.
are you looking, Sivan?
What do you mean? Like everybody has a course, everybody has. It's not. It's just the people that you are looking for.
But I've had a much easier time finding it being much more prevalent in entrepreneurs who realize like, okay, just taking out Facebook ads and telling people this is what I do isn't the same as really creating consistent content or having valuable information put out there.
I think it's just like, let's take the English speaking market, for example. It's just so much bigger, so you see a lot of it. But I think it's biased. I think still most people don't do it.
So you think it's still relatively new that it's not being done
It's not
prevalently?
Content marketing is a thing for a lot of years. Most companies now do have
Since
blogs,
the 90s,
and most companies do have a blog. Some of them are now migrating now to podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff like that. So it is kind of a trend that's going on, and it works for many years. I do think that people are doing this in Israel as well. It's just that the Israeli market in general is just smaller, and so sometimes the effort is, I don't know, maybe it's not worth it, or people are trying to make it in a bigger market. But
is your market
so I don't
mostly
know.
like Americans or English speakers outside of Israel?
It is. Yeah.
And how does that work? Like, does it matter that you're here and you can't like interface with them face to face or have meetups?
I do.
Oh,
I
do.
do. It's just I do it like late here, and it's early, in the US. It's difficult, I guess, specifically for live stream and stuff like that. But no, besides that, it's not a problem. And I post the videos and people can watch them anytime they want. So it's not really like critical, I think.
Okay. And to sum up, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you could give another entrepreneur who is dabbling in this content creation thing that you've learned from your experience?
So I would say just like to give it a try and see what you like. Like, for example, I tried writing and it worked for me for a while until I tried video and I understood, I'm much more comfortable in video. And I think different people have different tendencies and find different modes of communication easier for them. So somebody might be very comfortable, talking, so maybe they should do podcasting, or somebody else is comfortable in front of the camera. By the way, being comfortable in front of the camera is something that takes practice. But eventually you find out if it's like, because some people are just like horrified from it. So you can't tell them go do YouTube. They're not going to do YouTube. So you got to find your own thing, and you can't even just fall into the pattern of, okay, I saw like many influencers say that Instagram is this thing, so I got to be on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe Instagram is not the thing for you. Maybe you should be on LinkedIn. I don't know. Like, you should find whatever works for you. And I think it's also worth mentioning that, it's something that is a very long-term investment. And so if you don't have the kind of innate passion to create that content, it's probably not going to work like having somebody else tell you, you should do this. This is going to pay off in like 5 years. It's like, telling people you should eat healthy and exercise. If you don't see like results immediately, it's going to become very, very difficult. So for me, as I said, for a lot of time, I did not have any financial or any expectation out of this. I just did this out of passion. Now I'm at a point where it is becoming a business, and I can start like tracking and measuring, should I do more of this or more of that? What's the ROI of this? But now it's at the point where it's kind of like a business. Before it was, it takes time before you get there. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think patience is probably lacking in my generation, but definitely something worth investing in. Okay, well, we're going to include the link to the YouTube channel and your Instagram and all of the things. Thank you so much for... By the way, you should just know that Instagram is very powerful, because despite the fact that I lurked for a while and kind of stalked you, when I did reach out and you responded, and I said, like, I know this is totally random, but would you mind being interviewed? I think there is like a connection of like, this person is a real person and we can have a relationship. So it does happen in the DMs and in the stories. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. It's really been cool.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks,
Love
Barak.
to.